Hi everyone, I'm Rahul, and over the next few weeks, we are starting a series of conversations that I've been looking forward to for a long, long time. So, those of you who have followed Rthvi, a hair care brand, you have seen beautiful videos of hair care, ingredients, and products on Instagram and Facebook. But I kept thinking, there's an amazing person behind this brand whose story deserves to be told. So, instead of talking about products, we're going to talk with the person who created them. Welcome to the Healthy Hair Podcast. We'll discuss hair myths, Ayurveda, scalp health, entrepreneurship, life, and probably also have a few laughs along the way. So, let's begin right at the beginning. Meerika, welcome. I'm really glad we're finally doing it.
Thank you.
So, before we get into hair care and Ayurveda, Meerika, tell us who is Meerika when she's not running up.
That's actually harder to answer than questions about hair. Um, I'm a wife, a mother, someone who genuinely enjoys learning, and someone who's always been fascinated with wellness. And I would say long before Rithvi existed, Ayurveda was simply part of my life growing up. It wasn't a trend, it's just how things were done at home. I've also spent many years in the corporate world. So my journey has been a mix of science, business, tradition, entrepreneurship.
Interesting. Meerika, most people probably assume that because you own a hair care brand, you have always had the perfect hair. And please tell me that's not true.
I wish. No, my hair has gone through its own journey. Like many women, especially in my 40s, I noticed changes. Hair wasn't as thick, there was more shedding, and suddenly all those quick fixes people recommend didn't really seem to work. And that made me curious. Instead of asking which product should I buy, I started asking what's actually happening underneath. And that
Mhm.
question changed everything for me.
So your first instinct was not to launch a brand?
No, not at all. Actually,
Mhm.
I wanted answers before I wanted products. The more I learned about scalp, hair biology, ingredients, and Ayurveda, the more I realized something surprising. I
Mhm.
realized most of us spend so much time looking after our hair, but almost no time, absolutely no time looking after the scalp. It's a bit like watering the leaves of a plant while completely ignoring the soil. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's actually a really good analogy. And I think most of us buy shampoo because the bottle smells nice, or someone on Instagram or Facebook has recommended it.
Exactly. We've all done it.
Yeah.
We've all stood in a supermarket reading labels, like preparing for an exam. And somehow we believe the next bottle is going to solve everything. Sometimes it
Absolutely.
helps, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
But there are times it doesn't, right? Because healthy hair isn't just about shampoo, it's about nutrition, hormones, stress, sleep, scalp health, consistency. All these things work together.
That's too much. That's a lot. That's a lot. At what point did you think that maybe I should actually build a company around all this?
There wasn't a dramatic moment. Definitely wasn't. It happened gradually. Friends started asking me questions, family started asking me questions, then strangers started asking me questions. I
Mhm.
realized people weren't just looking for products, they were looking for someone they could trust, someone who could explain things honestly instead of promising miracles. That is when
Mhm.
Rithvi started taking shape.
I like that. I like that. Because if I had a rupee for every hair growth in 7 days ad that I see on Instagram, I could probably retire.
Exactly. Hair doesn't work on marketing timelines, it works on biology. And biology needs patience. I always tell people if your hair took months or even years to get into its current condition, it's unrealistic to expect it to transform within a week. It just doesn't happen.
Hmm. So, what do you wish, every woman knew about hair? If everyone watching remembered just this one thing after this conversation, what would it be?
I would say that it's important to
Hmm.
stop blaming yourself. Hair changes. It is part of life, right? Hair changes through different stages of life. Stress happens, hormonal changes happen, aging happens. And instead of chasing miracle products, understand your hair. Listen to your body. Take care of your scalp. Be consistent. Healthy hair is built over time, not overnight. And I think
I
that's
love
the
that.
most important thing.
I love that. I love that. And I think that's probably the biggest difference I've noticed about you. You don't talk about perfect hair. You're talking about healthy hair.
Well, because perfect hair doesn't exist, Rahul. Healthy hair looks
Hmm.
different for everyone. And that's completely okay.
I think, Meerika, this is a very, very, in a nutshell, in very briefly, you have given a very nice introduction to, things and, a direction on what we'll be talking about. And that's a wonderful place to end. So this wasn't about selling products. It was about understanding the person behind the brand. In the coming episodes, and we'll keep the episodes smaller so that, that is a watch size wise. We'll talk about scalp health, common hair myths, ingredients, Ayurveda, and answer real questions from all of you. You can put down your questions in comments if you like. So, thank you so much for joining me, Meerika.
Thank you. This was fun. And I can't wait to continue these conversations.
Thank you once again.